Hey, my friend, let's talk about something that's been frustrating Cowboys fans for nearly 3 decades. You know exactly what I'm talking about. 29 years without a Super Bowl. That's not just a dry spell, that's an entire generation of fans who have never seen this team at the top. And now, Jerry Jones just made a statement that proves what many of us have feared all along. He doesn't lose sleep over it. I get it. Every offseason, we hope for that one big move, that one change, that finally puts us over the top. And every year we get let down. But when your team's owner, the guy responsible for building a championship contender, comes out and basically says, "I don't dwell on it, how are we supposed to feel?" That's exactly what happened. Jerry Jones was asked about the Cowboys' nearly 3-decade championship drought, and his response. He said he's proud of what the team has accomplished and doesn't waste time thinking about how long it's been. Seriously? You don't dwell on it, Jerry? Because the fans sure do. Let me ask you, do you think Jerry truly cares about winning another Super Bowl? Or is he just content with the business success the Cowboys bring him? Vote in the poll and let me know in the comments, and stick with me. Because in the next part, we're going to break down Jerry's exact words and what they really mean for the future of this team. All right, let's dive into what Jerry Jones actually said and why it's got Cowboys Nation fired up. In his recent interview, he made it clear. He's not losing sleep over the 29-year championship drought. His exact words? He doesn't dwell on it. Instead, he pointed out that the Cowboys have been around the rim, meaning they've been competitive, just never quite good enough to get over the hump. Now, let's be real here. What does around the rim even mean? Because if Jerry's version of being competitive is making the playoffs and getting bounced before the NFC Championship game, then we've got a serious problem. The standard in Dallas used to be Super Bowls, not just making the postseason. And yet, here we are, with the owner acting like near misses and early exits are good enough. Think about it. He said the Cowboys have won the 6th most games in the last 15 years. That sounds impressive, right? But where are the championships? Where are the deep playoff runs? This is the Dallas Cowboys, not some small market team that's happy just making the playoffs. Fans expect greatness, not mediocrity dressed up as success. And then there's the part where he says, "No one has shown me the answer on how to get to a Super Bowl." Wait, what? The formula isn't a secret. Build a great roster, bring in the right coach, and make aggressive moves when it counts. Other franchises have figured it out. Why hasn't he? Let's settle this right now. Do you think Jerry's focus is still on winning? Or is he just riding the wave of the Cowboys being the most valuable sports franchise? Drop a comment with your take. Up next, we're going to look at how the media and the fans reacted to Jerry's comments. Because trust me, people had a lot to say. You knew this was coming. As soon as Jerry's comments hit the airwaves, the media and fans went off. And honestly, rightfully so. When the owner of one of the most storied franchises in the NFL basically shrugs off nearly 3 decades of failure, people aren't just going to let that slide. Let's start with the analysts. Stephen A. Smith, who never misses a chance to call out. The Cowboys absolutely tore into Jerry. He called it exactly what it is, complacency. He pointed out that teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers are constantly making aggressive moves to stay competitive. Meanwhile, Jerry is out here acting like being around the rim is something to be proud of. And it wasn't just ESPN. Analysts from TalkSport, The Athletic, and countless other outlets echoed the same frustration. How can a team with this much money, this much history, and this much fan support continue to settle for less? But forget the media for a second. Let's talk about the fans, because the reaction from Cowboys Nation was even stronger. Social media exploded. Twitter was flooded with posts from die-hard fans who have spent years defending Jerry, only to feel completely betrayed by his words. Some fans said they're officially done supporting the team until ownership takes winning seriously. Others just expressed straight-up heartbreak. One of the most common arguments? Jerry is out of touch with the modern NFL. Back in the 90s, his hands-on approach worked, but today, The league has changed. The teams that win Super Bowls aren't afraid to make big moves. They go after top free agents. They aren't afraid to fire coaches who underperform. Meanwhile, the Cowboys continue to play it safe, signing bargain bin free agents and refusing to make the bold moves that other teams are making. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. A lot of fans feel like Jerry takes advantage of their loyalty. He knows that no matter what, AT&T Stadium is going to be packed. He knows Cowboys merch will always sell, and as long as the team is good enough to stay relevant, his business empire keeps growing. That's the real frustration. The fans want a championship. Jerry wants a profitable franchise, and those two things aren't always the same. So here's the question for you. Do you think Cowboys fans are being too hard on Jerry, or is this frustration completely justified? Vote in the poll and let's hash it out in the comments. And stick around because next, we're going to look at Jerry's history of decisions and how his leadership style has kept the Cowboys from reaching the top. If you've been a Cowboys fan for a while, you already know this isn't just about one comment. This is about nearly 3 decades of questionable decisions that have kept this team from getting back to a Super Bowl. Let's start with the biggest one. Jerry Jones refuses to give up control. Most NFL teams have a general manager whose job is to build the roster, make trades, and manage contracts. The Cowboys? Jerry insists on running the show himself. He's been the team's GM since 1989, and while that worked in the early years with Jimmy Johnson, it's been nothing but frustration since. Think about some of the teams that have won Super Bowls recently. The Chiefs? Brett Veach runs the front office. The Rams? Les Snead made aggressive moves to win. The Eagles? Howie. Roseman built a roster that got them a ring. The Cowboys? Jerry and Stephen Jones make calculated decisions that usually amount to bargain hunting and free agency and keeping things in-house. It's not just the lack of a real GM, though. Jerry's loyalty to his decisions has hurt the team. How many times have we seen him stick with a head coach or a player longer than he should? Jason Garrett got almost a decade despite never proving he could take this team to the next level. Ezekiel Elliott was given a massive contract despite the league shifting away from overpaying running backs. And let's not forget that when Bill Parcells finally had the team moving in the right direction, Jerry forced Terrell Owens on the roster, leading to Parcells walking away. And here's the most frustrating part. Jerry knows he has a problem, but he refuses to change. He's openly admitted that being the GM gives him the most joy in football. He doesn't want to step back. He doesn't want to hand the keys to, someone else. And as long as he's making the final calls, the Cowboys will always be limited by his vision. So here's the question. Do you think Jerry Jones will ever step back and let someone else run football operations? Or are we stuck in this cycle until the ownership changes? Let me know in the comments. Up next, let's talk about what the Cowboys need to do if they actually want to compete for a Super Bowl again. All right, so we've talked about Jerry Jones's mindset, his decisions, and how they've shaped nearly 3 decades of frustration. But what's next? Is there any hope that the Cowboys can turn things around? The answer is yes, but only if real changes happen. First and foremost, the Cowboys need to shift their approach to roster building. The best teams in the NFL aren't afraid to take big swings. Look at how the Rams went all in for a Super Bowl. The Eagles consistently make aggressive moves in free agency and the draft. Meanwhile, Dallas plays it safe, relying too much on internal development and value signings. That needs to change. Another major step? Bringing in a true football mind to handle personnel decisions. If Jerry really wants to see another Super Bowl, he needs to step back and let a real general manager take control. Will he do it? That's the million-dollar question. And finally, the Cowboys need to listen to you, the fans. This fan base deserves a front office that matches its passion. For too long, Jerry has counted on your loyalty while giving you minimal results in return. It's time for the organization to act like winning is the top priority. So what do you think? Will the Cowboys actually make the changes needed to get back to the Super Bowl? Or are we doomed to repeat history? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe. There's always more Cowboys news on the way.